This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, sorry. So I think let's get started, Sridhar and all. So yeah, others will join. So yesterday there was some lot of disturbance, right? Sorry for that again. So let us get started of understanding different types of prompts supported by prompt engineering. Yeah. So let me try to share my desktop. Yes. So yeah, let me try to recap. Yeah, with some details like what we discussed in the last session. So we are trying to talk about other prompts. Within that, we could say here the single shot prompt, where we supply the input and expect output. So which means, like for example, we can ask for simple response based on the user input. For example, write a code to print something, or get me the results of customers, or get all the countries or list of countries. They are the simple prompts. Yeah. So for that, we can get corresponding output. Yeah. So dialogue, as the name suggests, so we can have conversation between what human and humanoid. Yeah. Or we can have conversation with multiple humans with one humanoid. So which means we can talk to bot with one or more speakers. Yeah. So which means these two speakers, example, can interact through through GPT, we can say. Yeah. So chat GPT or GPT will act as a what bot to make these two people or two speakers to talk to each other. Example two I said, but we can have n number of speakers, yeah, who can collaborate with each other. Yeah. So we'll see some examples. So conditional prompt, yeah, as the name suggests, condition, right? For example, get all the states from a specified country. The condition here is what country, right? So or get all the customers who are tier 1 type. So tier 1 type is going to be the condition, or get all the products. So where we can expect the accuracy more than, let's say, 95 or 99 percentage, with no tolerance, no deviation. So these are the deviation, tolerance, and accuracy. These three are going to be the conditions. Yeah. So likewise, we can think of many examples which are part of conditional prompt. Yeah. Then inference prompt. So remember here, inference base. Example. So draw a conclusion based on given input. Yeah. So which means, so let us say, in order to get the response, that response should be based on what? Some inference. So we need to identify inference points. Based on that, we can get the corresponding result or results. Yeah. For example, let us say we have got in data warehousing context. Yeah. So inferred and or documented. Documented is which is based on what source. Inference is based on what actual. So in both the cases we are using base, Remember, one is based on the source, second is based on what actuals. Yeah, that's one example where we use inference in the context of what analysis or profiling stuff. We all know that. Yeah, so that's one example. Now let us take in pharma industry. Yeah, let us take crocin or paracetamol. Brands are different. The kind of ingredients are based on pre-built molecules. Remember, so that base would be same for both the types of medications. Yeah? So likewise, you can think of many examples where inference prompt is going to help us based on something. Yeah? So I gave one example from analysis, second example from pharma industry. Yeah? Now question answering prompt. Yeah? So in this case, I think I would have said many times, if you go with any AI tools, right, or AI language models, especially ChatGPT, if you try to ask specific question, then we can expect what specific answer, which means what we should try to ask question as specific as possible. Based on that, we can expect the corresponding specific answer. Remember that. Yeah. For example, let us say write a program to calculate C equal to A plus B, where we supply A and B, then you'll get C. That's a very specific question. We have given the formula, we have given the input, we expect only value of C, which is going to be the derived result based on A and B operands with plus operator, right? So that's a specific question. So let us say we have got, yeah, let us take from warehousing perspective. Read the data from a flat file with comma delimiter where no text qualified and no, let's say, row delimiter or whatever. Yeah. So that's a specific question. So based on that, you will get the response. Yeah, in a textual form. Now, if you want to convert that to reality in the context of ETL, that also could be done. So that's one more example from warehousing perspective, right? So likewise, we can put in or we can ask very specific questions to ChatGPT so that you'll get very specific answer. Remember, yeah. So I'm trying to emphasize on this particular prompt because this is where we need to what I call focus. Because if you try to supply generic or intermediate prompt, you won't or we cannot expect the right response. You will get it, but it cannot guarantee close to 100 percentage of accuracy. Yeah. So remember that. So that is why we should be very strong in the domain while providing the input, which means you should have good expertise on that to ask specific question. Or else, if you are new to that, in that case, you need to go from generic, then derive the specific from the generic response, then supply the specific question. That way we can do it. Yeah. But if you have prior knowledge, it's an added advantage, but it's not mandatory. Remember that. If you have very good analytical capability, then even domain expert is also not required. So we can start from generic and nail down to what very specific question. Remember, guys, if you go with any AI tool, right, you don't need to have any prior experience. If you have, it's okay. Even if you don't have, also we can still get into success mode. That is a fact of the matter. Yeah. So that's it. Now, yeah, these are the different types of other prompts. I think we talked about what you call fewer prompt and zero shot prompt, all that we discussed, right? So these are part of other prompts. Now let us talk about some examples on other prompts. The first one is what single shot prompt. Yeah. I think the voice is clear, right? Clear? And that's
Yes, sir. Today is clear, sir.
Very much, sir.
okay. Thank you. Yeah. Now let us talk about some examples with single short prompt. Yeah. Write a poem about the ocean. Yeah. So this is a single short prompt. Generate a story about a time traveling detective. Yeah. So or get me the result of some input. Yeah. So let's say C equal to A plus B. Yeah. So this is a very very simple single shot, which means if we just apply the input, we expect final result. No more prompts. Yeah, remember that. So now dialogue prompt. Dialogue means conversation. We all know that, right? One user can ask a question, and GPT will act as a mediator between what multiple users who can talk to each other, right? So example here, can you help me to book a hotel room? Let's say GPT, of course, city, dates, whatever, right? It will ask for it. Then user, I need a room in New York City, whatever, right? Some date. Yeah. GPT is responding here. Yeah. So which one you prefer, whatever. But this is not a valid thing because, as we all know that none of the AI tools or AI language models that we have in the market, right? They don't support real-time data. But this question, which is a dialogue prompt question, like what we can see here, it is applicable for the most recent data. But GPT tools are not going to support. This is not a right dialogue prompt. But for understanding, this is how we can put in a question. Yeah? So that's it. But let us say if the what I call if GPT or chat GPT is already trained till 2022 example, then you can ask questions prior to 2022 in with respect to what dialogue. Yeah? So which means conversation. So that is fine. Which means the historical data we can still use dialogue prompt, but for latest data we cannot because they don't support real time, right? For now we are just using what static data. So which means these models already trained with LLM or deep learning, whatever, right? We just have to use only pre-trained data as input to perform what we call dialogue based operations. That's it. Yeah. Now the question, conditional prompt. Yeah. I think we talked about some examples. Here also you can see some more examples. Generate a list of Italian pasta recipes that don't require cheese. Yeah. So which means this condition is going to be, yeah, don't require cheese. Not, we have right operator. So that is going to be the condition here. Yeah. Next one, provide a summary of latest scientific studies on climate change. Yeah. Again, this is not the right prompt because normally we expect a response based on the real time, right? Yes or no? But yes, for the historical thing, we can still use it. But latest, we cannot use this. This is not the right prompt anyway. Now, inference prompt. So, example based on recent polls, who is a front runner for the upcoming presidential election? So, which means again, this is not applicable for legacy data, but it's applicable for latest. Yeah. So, or you can ask question on what basis what you call last presidential election has happened. So that's based on what history. That question is valid, but this question is not, or this prompt is not valid. Yeah. So because it doesn't understand the latest, right? So because model is trained based on some predefined date and year. Yeah. So what is the likelihood of major earthquake occurring in California next year? So again, this is going to be the question mark. Yeah. This is also not applicable. Yes, if GPT, if tools or AI language models has got support for real-time data, then it's fine. All are valid. Yeah. If not, some are not valid, some are valid. Yeah. So remember that. Yeah. So fine. So now, so we've also talked about the key elements that we need to understand while writing a prompt. Yeah. So this is a very major thing, guys. Yeah. If you understand these bullet points, then you could able to supply any kind of prompt in what as specific as you could. Remember that. First thing, context, which means what is your motive to get answer from a language models like ChatGPT, right? Let us say we are focusing on data warehousing. That is again going to be what top level context. Then let's say we need to focus on, let's say, analysis only. So within data warehousing, we go with what analysis. Analysis again is going to be mid-level term. It's not specific. Within analysis, what type of analysis? Yeah. So till that, we need to look for context. Context is what? Very specific. Yeah. So data warehouse is also very generic. Yeah. So that's a specific to some extent, but it's not as specific as GPT tools are going to expect. Yeah. So that's first identify the specific topic, very specific topic. Yeah. Then expert persona, so which means a role or expertise. Remember, whatever context that you take, if you have deeper expertise on that, then you are the right person to write a right prompt or to supply the right prompt. Yeah, fine. So but yes, even if you don't have also, you can just learn and apply if you have good analytical skills. Yeah, that's also fine. Then third, verbs. So which means what? You expect some output, but based on what? So we need to provide right input, right? Yes or no? So which means guidance is required for AI language models. Remember, see, there are just like humanoids. So, but those humanoids would be based on what? Humans. That's where our role is going to play a very key aspect. So guide. So we need to guide. Based on that, you'll get corresponding response. That guidance should be in a right way. Remember that. Then length and output type. Yeah, remember guys, if you try to ask some question which might produce thousands of characters, yes or no? But let's say you need the response which is not going to cross, let's say, threshold value of 100 characters. So we can specify the result should be within a specified length, and type that could be integer, or it's a string, or it could be even binary, or it could be image, or it could be even audio, or it could be even video, or it could be hybrid, or it's a document. It could be anything, but the question should be very specific. Yeah. So length and output type. So which means what? If you try to supply these key elements as input to the prompt, definitely she will be successful on the usage of ChatGPT. Remember that. Yeah. Not only ChatGPT, even with what other language models like Gemini, whatever. Yeah. So task and objective. So description and goal. Yeah. Remember, guys, we have to have a goal. One, while forming a prompt. Yeah. Second, to get or to supply proper description. The description should be short most of the cases, but it could be long in some cases. Remember, guys, sometimes you might have to give number of pages as input to this language models. So it would read Based on that, you'll get the response. Description is not mandatory that it should be always short. It could be even what? Very long text, which will contain n number of pages. So ChatGPT supports 52 pages. Now anyway, it supports more than that. But make sure that every page of content it has got valid content. Or else simply it is better not to supply some 50 or 50, 30 page document as input to this chat GPT, right? So that's it. Then another key element is what? Tone. Yeah. So mood for output. These are the one of the what you call important element, but it is not needed for most of the context. Yeah. So, but some context it is required wherever, let us say, the conversion, like text to speech or speech to text or some other phonetics. In such cases, so we need to focus on what? Tone. Yeah. And also, if you want to deal with the personal behavior, attitude, or some other what you call personal elements, then tone is going to play very key role. If not, it is not going to add much value while forming a prompt. Yeah. And target audience. This is one of the very what you call key element, guys. Because what is the end goal? Now, who are the target people where they would get benefit from a given prompt? Yes or no? For example, target people are, let us say, analyst, yeah, or target people are, let us say, uh, some stewards, or let's say IT managers or administrators, whosoever. So that we need to keep in mind. This prompt will be applicable to what type of stakeholders. Yeah. So that we need to be very specific. Yeah. So now the next point, a reference. Yeah. Remember, guys, while forming a prompt, yeah, so you can also say that this prompt is derived based on the following references, like a journal reference, white paper, international conference, national conference, or an article, or a book, or a blog, or even what you call mail. The reference could be derived from one of these medias. So write a prompt based on the following references. Rest will be taken care by ChatGPT or any other language model. So I'm trying to talk about generic elements, guys, which can be used for any language model. Anyway, we are trying to focus on ChatGPT, but yes, these are applicable even for others as well. Yeah. So purpose of this particular what we call questioning or prompt, right? So we need to be very clear. So like a goal setting, intention of providing a prompt. So these things also should be clear. Yeah. So this more or less repeated actually. You can ignore that. Keywords. Remember, whatever context, like if we take data warehousing, especially analysis part, we should be very clear on what the terminology that we use within that particular specific context. Once we have it, we also need to have understanding on concepts. Yeah? Then you can supply the right prompt. For example, let us say if you take analysis, right? So if you take analysis, within that we have got multiple analysis of profiling techniques. Example, column profiling. Yes or no? So we know what is a column profiling. Concept is clear. And terms that we use for column profiling. So which means we should be very specific on that particular topic. So keywords. So terms that we use for column profiling and underlying concepts. Yeah. So column profiling will be used in order to carry out analysis for both metadata and data for each column. That's a concept. We all know that. Yes or no? The terms that we use as part of column profile. What are the terms we use? Metadata and data. These are the generic terms. Now, specific terms, we have got null or not null. Then we have inferred or documented, or a pattern, or date, and also what we call range, and also what we call some other aggregation statistics. These are the terms that we use in the context of column profiling. Remember that. So you should have that extent information which can be treated as what? Keywords. So that we are trying to supply the right keywords so that you'll get what? Very close to 100 percentage of accurate response. So I've already seen that with the tool. So remember guys, the response from especially ChatGPT is much better than with existing what I call analysis tools. Let's take analysis because I compared with Informatica Analyst and also IBM Information Analyzer plus open source analyst tools. I compared the results from ChatGPT against with other popular analysis tools. In that case also, ChatGPT is going to preside over other existing tools. So with respect to accuracy wise and the way it produces the results wise and performance wise, in all the cases, ChatGPT is far better than what I call existing tools that we have in the market. Yeah. So notes, in case if you want to supply some additional information, we can do it, but it's optional. Yeah. But keywords, anyway, whatever key element that we discussed, right? Out of them, context, then target audience, then length and output type, and keywords. These are the very key elements. You can say major elements. Then mid-level elements are expert persona, then task objective, then reference, mid-level, and low level others would be part of low level, which means what? Less prioritized elements, we can say. Yeah. So this way we can categorize these key elements into what? Three sub categories. Yeah? Major, mid-level, and low-level elements. That's it. Yeah. So now let us start getting into what we call understanding the structure and format of a prompt. Yeah. So now can you see guys, if we try to supply the prompt, yeah, we can transform that to what? A specific format. For example, get me, let us say, 2 days back date, and that date could be of any format. So if you ask for some format, we can get the date in that particular expected format. Not only that, so we can think zip code format or let's say telephone number format, whatever, right? You can think many. You know, for a given input, it will transform to a desired or expected result. Yeah? Sorry. Now, the next question is what? Utilize visual elements such as headings or list to improve the client's visual presentation. Yeah. So we can see we have got multiple images. Yeah. So which means we can also supply the image. For example, website. We are trying to talk about website. It would contain a logo, then followed by tabs, then followed by links, then followed by content. Yes or no? Which means some could be visual in the form of image or audio video, some could be text, some could be links. So which means we can utilize all the elements. Yeah. So for heading, let us say tabs, or for list, let's say links, or for whatever, for simple description content, right? Which means what we can utilize all of them while forming a prompt. It is not mandatory that we can only supply text as input to get the result from language models. We can also supply mix of many types, meaning we can have a text, we can have an image, we can have tabs, we can have what, embedded references. So which we can have the combination of different types as input to get the response from ChatGPT example. We are in the content in a different order. Let us say you submit some text which is jumbled. Now we can ask language model or ChatGPT to arrange it in what, different order. So because it has got inbuilt grammar tools, right? Yes or no? So based on that, it knows like how to convert your jumbled words with a orderly manner, so that you can see uh, proper phrasing and sentence formation as a result of any chat GPT, because it already has got the grammar, so it can convert your jumbled data to what, properly structured format. Adjust the length to words. Remember, guys, so let us, as I said earlier, we can just ask the input where this many number of characters only I want it. So if you specify that, right, it is going to provide very, very, what you call, descriptive or a short response from a given input. For example, if there are 100 pages, example, so we are going to supply 100 pages at input, but the result should be, let us say, only 100 characters. So 100 is going to be the, what you call, length. We are trying to convert 100 pages of document to what, 100 characters. See, many to many. Many means, let's say, 1 million characters to what, 100 characters. So such kind of, why we are trying to convert from 1 million to 100, because nowadays people are very lazy, right? So they don't what you call, wait till we read the complete document which contains 100 pages. We just need to answer in 1 or 2 minutes. So chat GPT will answer that question. So summary information will get it. From that you'll get know what that particular 100 pages contains, high level. So after that you can just decide whether to read or not. Or you can also ask for next level of what you call, description. In the 100 characters, let's say 1,000 characters, you'll get some more details. After that, you can take a call whether to read the complete document or not. Yeah. So, especially, especially while judging any tools that we have in the market, right? This is a very good one, because there are hundreds of tools that we have in the market, right? Yes or no? Now, there is some business, there is some manufacturing where they're producing some parts of products with different shapes. Yeah, that is the expectation. For that, there are hundreds of companies or hundreds of tools that we have in the market. Now we can ask ChatGPT to answer what are the right tools to build a solution which satisfies our requirement. So which means we don't need to, what we call, understand what we have in the market. AI tools will take care of it. See how much time it's going to save. Even end users, they themselves will take a judgment. Yeah, and also they'll also get pricing, maintenance, all that. You'll get it from different tools. So then after that, they can take a call. What would be the right tool or set of tools that they can adopt to meet their requirement? Remember that. Yeah. Fine. Now generate additional versions. Yeah. Remember, guys. Yeah, we can have version one with yes, that's what I said. 100 characters. Version two, 1,000 characters. Version three, 10,000 characters. Likewise, you can have, in case if you are not clear of what you expect, right? In that case, you can have what you call with more description. From that, you can understand better. Yeah. So that's it. Translate the content to a different language. I think this we all know that. But AI language models, they don't support all the international languages that we have in the market, but it supports major languages. So yes, it can perform translation to different language for the supported ones only, not all. Yeah. You can ask question, can you make it to support for other international languages? For that, we have to have code pages which are ready to use, then get it integrated to ChatGPT example by using pre-built APIs, then we can get it supported. But by default, existing AI tools they support only limited languages. If you want your own custom language, example, Telugu or Hindi or Tamil or some other, let's say, languages, right? Then we have to have corresponding uh, table we call. Once you build a table, then uh, then we can use appropriate API from ChatGPT, OpenAI API. Then you'll get the result in specified format. So, but we have to write a code for it. So, but yes, by default you'll not get it. Yeah. So organize the content in any way, guys. Reverse chronological order or chronological order. That is just ordering data. So that's a very minor part. Convert the content into a script for a video. Remember, guys, when you try to create a video, what we need to do, we cannot dump what we call many pages. So convert that to what? A script form. That script can become as input for forming a video. Like for example, if you already have a transcript from an existing video, then convert that long form of transcript to what? Short form. Then use that short form transcript as input to any tool to create a video. Like we have AI in video. There are many other tools that we have, right? Where if we just supply some transcript or some text or content, they'll generate a video automatically. Yeah. I think I've already created that. I think I kept it in. I'll give you the links. I think I have more than 30 videos which are generated automatically by using pre-built AI tools. Yeah. Yeah. So now the question: methodically arrange the content into your table with random column headers. It's just a format specific to a table, guys. But we should not confine to only table. The format could be based on file or table or Excel sheet or CSV or document or email or let's say links, whatever, right? We can think of many types. Yeah. For all of them, we can arrange the content based on any type. Example table you can see here with n number of columns, which will act as a header. Then you'll get corresponding data against with those columns. For example, get me state code and city code for a given zip code. Zip code is going to be input. State code and city code will be in the form of a table. So header is going to be city and state, and input is going to be a zip code. Or we can also supply set of zip codes. So you will get what state and city, which are part of a tabular form. So that's just a structure we expect. We are just talking about example. Similarly, we can also talk about this in a CSV format. Yeah. So state, city represented in what? With a comma delimited result. Yeah. So that's a one more way of representing the result. Yeah. So from a given input prompt, which is zip code. Yeah. So likewise, you can think of many examples. See, these things are very much required in the context of data warehousing. Remember, there are lots of things that we have in prompt engineering, but we are trying to emphasize towards what? Data warehousing only. Yeah. So we should not get into the ones which are not required for data warehousing, right? So because our scope is that, our context is that. Yeah. So now let's talk about Yeah, tone of prompt. So now the question: enhance the content to be more adjective. Remember, guys. So if you try to use the combination of verbs, yeah, with the n number of verbatims or corresponding adjectives, then you will get what the tone specific result. But it's not that important in the context of what data warehousing. Yeah, utilize yeah rhetorical devices to emphasize important points. So, for example, we all know that there are multiple what you call pre-built devices. So that can be taken as input in order to infer or get important points. So, if, for example, we have got multiple text-to-speech conversion devices, so that will be taken as input in order to derive what important points. So, likewise, you can think of any device which is going to help us to build a solution in the context of warehouse. But it is not that great, but we can use some virtual devices. Remember, guys. So, which means without taking the help from humans, we can still build a solution, but not without, I would say, by reducing the human's intervention, we can still build a solution. For that, we have to utilize existing devices, or we can also form a virtual device. If I get time, I will talk about how to build our own virtual device so that whatever humans would do, right, those things will be taken care by the device, which is a virtual device. So if you have physical device, that also can be used, but that I cannot show practical example. But virtual, yes, I can try doing that. So take a different perspective, yeah. So such as using the first or second person, yeah. So yes, yeah, this again is a prompt input, yeah. For example, let us say if you take a banking industry, right, where some banks they would emphasize towards what first name, some second, third, something else, or we can also say that. Let's say if you take especially um, fault management, or fraud detection stuff. In that case, this particular what you call taking the input with respect to first or second person, right? It's going to play a very key role. So depending upon the context, so even in the case of data warehousing also, let's say you'll have what you call top tier products or top tier customers or bottom tier customers. So based on the type of person, yeah, so where banks or investor, sorry, uh, financial institutions where they would take a call. Okay, so we need to uh, list these guys in a top order, then followed by others. So in such cases also, this particular tone of prompt is going to help us. So utilize a journalistic tone to deliver the content, right? In the sense, remember guys, so we have lot of content which is available in different form. So one of them is what? Journalistic form. So we can also take that as an input in order to deliver the content. So use a conversational or utilize a conversational tone to make the content more relatable. Remember that. Yeah. I repeat, utilize what? Conversational tone. So which means like we talked about dialogue prompt, right? Yes or no? So this is similar to that, but the emphasis towards what? Tone. That's it. Rest everything is same. Yeah. So include sensory, figurative, or emotional language to create what? More immersive experience. So remember, guys, so this particular what you call input, which is required especially when we deal with what embedded context. You know? So in that case, we supply what you call to identify some point within a device, right? So we need to use what sensory, then figure out the location, there or supply emotional language which could be understood by in that particular region. Then or we can also think some other factors to create more immersive experience. Yeah? So adopt a distinct voice such as character or narrator to bring the content to life. Yeah. So which means yeah, it's basically just to attract people, right? So some people would like female voice, some people would like male voice, whatever, depending upon what you call the expectation in that particular region. We can use what you call how we can narrate the story, then which will bring the content to your life that we use for in that particular region. But this particular point will be varied from region to region or place to place. Remember, that is why this a tone of prompt is purely from a region perspective, not a global perspective. Remember, yeah. So yeah. Now let us talk about references. Yeah. So this is very very important. If you are not sure, right? If you have just some references, right? You can just apply, read the following references to produce the results of the specific question. That's it. Come up with what you call quality data example, right? Assuming that you supplied quality related references. Yeah. So in that case also, in that case only, references is going to help us. Example, add references to support the content. Yeah. So in case if you don't have any patience to read those reference documents or material, right? You can just supply that as input to this AI tools. They will take a rest. You know? Which means what? So it all depends on how effective we can make use of this AI tools, guys. That's all matters a lot. Usage. Yeah. So you don't need to put a lot of effort to read all that. Yeah. So include footnotes or endnotes, yeah, to provide additional context or information. For example, let us take an Excel sheet. At the end, we can specify what statistical information like total count or sum or average or any other aggregation statistics. Yes or no? In that case, we can include what? Footers or footnote. Right? Yes or no? Similarly, can you hear me right now? So I've just changed the network. Okay, fine. So reference part, I think it's clear. So similarly, include footnotes for additional information. Next point, utilize scientific language and research to bolster the content. Yeah. So, for example, let us say there is some innovation going on in one particular topic. Yeah. For example, analysis only. Now, you don't want to read it. Supply that has input to this chat GPT. Rest, it will take care to create the content. Remember that. Yeah. So that's it. So incorporate primary sources such as interviews or documents for authenticity and depth. So which means we can supply any source of material, or they will act as what? References. Oh, is it disabled? No, right? Yeah, that's fine. So, which means we can supply, let's say, primary sources like interviews or documents for authenticity and depth. Yeah. So remember, guys, before we expect the response, so first order, check this document. If it is satisfied, select second reference document. If it is satisfied, then go with what? Third reference document. So that also you can just supply, so that the response should be in an incremental manner based on the order of reference documents that you supply. Remember that, yeah. So that also we can take care as part of supplying references, yeah. And quote experts or thought leaders to enhance the credibility and authority. Yeah. So, for example, let us say if you supply extra, like example, Elon Musk AI side, or Mars, let's say Elon Musk, that kind, such kind of, or Bill Gates or whoever it is, right? If you supply what it calls some references as input, right, for enhancing the credibility and authority, because they are the, that's the top leaders, right, in tech, yeah, giant, yeah. So then you'll have more value add while producing the result, and people will trust the information like what you supply, because they are the, what you call, trustworthy people, let us say, yeah. So include case studies or real world examples to illustrate practical applications of the material, yeah. So yes, so we can just let's say again reference, also reference only. You'll have some document will provide a reference of case studies or some real world examples to deal with our practicality of what you supply as material. That's it. So like these are some examples, but we can have any other examples also. For example, let's say there is a, in IBM there is a red book, right? It will contain hundreds of pages. So you can just give the link to the document. That's it. Similarly, you can just talk about let's say open source tools. You know, then supply that what you call URL as input to this chat GPT. Rest, it knows like what to read from that particular link. Then infer or get the response based on what you ask for. Ask, let us say, so get me what I call quality measures from the given reference documents. You got right? Yes or no? Which means it is going to read the reference document, then it will come, it will generate what? Quality measures. Or else if you try to supply the get quality measures from a given what you call available material. This is generic question, but we are going to make it specific by supplying the reference only. Whatever is available from the reference documents, right? Only that we are going to get the response. Remember that, yeah. Which means we are trying to what generate more accurate what you call information by supplying the reference document. Or else, what GPT tools are going to do? They are going to collect bunch of documents as input, which are available as part of internet. Yes or no? So that may not give the right information, right? But because we are expecting, let us say, very specific response from a given input documents, so that also would be taken care by using what? References. Sorry. Now I think we talked about this to some extent earlier, but let us try to get into with some more details. Adjective are verbs and audience are purpose. So let's talk about adjective and verbs. Use of adjectives and verbs. Yeah. So these words or these adjectives or verbs, they are very much required while creating a script, but they are not that important when it comes to what data warehousing. So what is important in the context of data warehousing? Terms, yeah, terms and concepts. They are going to be the key inputs, especially while building a data warehouse solution. I think we talked about that when we talked about key elements to form a prompt, right? So describe tone and style. Yeah. So yeah, this is also optional in the context of data warehousing. Clarify expectations and enhance the quality. So to enhance the quality, what we need to do, guys, we need to one supply the references, and second, we need to ask the right expectation. As a result, you could expect what? Enhanced quality result. That's all we need to do. Yeah. Then target audience. We already talked about it, and purpose of providing a prompt. For that, what we need to do? Better to define the audience for which you are writing a prompt. For example, students, investors, customers, whosoever, right? But in the context of warehousing, we talked about, right? One, you will have developers or application developers. Second, business analysts. Third, data analysts. Fourth, data stewards. Fifth, subject matter experts, SMEs. And sixth, IT managers. And seven, senior IT managers. Yeah, these are key stakeholders who will be part of what I call data warehousing. s- Yeah, stakeholders, right? So, but yes, because these are general things, guys, but we should not talk about general things, guys. So we are focusing on, let's say, warehousing. In that context only, we need to identify the right what I call stakeholders. Yeah? The purpose helps understand the context. Yeah? Example, what is our purpose in the context of warehousing? Analysis. Yeah, so that's it. So which means identify the purpose to before we form the warehouse. Example, to convey the information about a subject or event to the reader. So what is the subject we are talking here? Let's say analysis. To impart knowledge and educate the reader on a specific topic. Example, analysis again. So which means what? Purpose and audience should be very clear. You know, so that we should always target those stakeholders before we provide any input. Remember, if you take analysis, right? So do we need to worry about developers? No. We should worry about what? Business analysts, to some extent, data analysts. That's it. They are the two target stakeholders. So which means we need to target the right stakeholders for the right specific topic. Then you'll get what? Right quality result. Remember that. I'm trying to give only one example analysis, guys. So likewise, same thing, we can use it for quality, or even data integration, or mass data management, or BI reporting side, or let's say building interfaces. These are different layers we have in warehousing, right? So one, I'm trying to give an example. So same thing we can apply it for others as well. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. So input and output format. I think we'll talk about it on tomorrow's session, guys. We'll focus on some practical stuff on tomorrow's session. Today we just talked about theoretical stuff. So we'll try to apply practically uh, by supplying the input to the chat GPT and see how we are going to get the response from chat GPT. Yeah. So till now, if you have any questions, please shoot out, guys. I hope the voice is okay today. If not, let me know, guys. I'll try to find out
Sir,
some
today
option.
voice is very clear.
Oh, thank you very much, Amish. Okay, so yeah, if you have any questions, you can shoot out, or else you can just stop today. Yeah, and recordings, I think I've not shared it. I'll share it all. Yeah, I think there are 5, 6 recordings. I need to share it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm fine. So thanks to all. We'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.